Welcome to Marianne's Alaska Kitchen, where I like to take great recipes and make them even better. Welcome to Marianne's Alaska Kitchen. Today I'm going to be making a very fondly heartfelt recipe that my father-in-law, that I never got to meet before I married my husband, created way back when. And it's very simple, but it's a family favorite, and it will become one of your family's favorites if you give it a try. So my son's helping me with the prep here. Basically just dicing up a half of a medium onion, and 4 cloves of garlic are going to get pressed into the frying pan after the onions are translucent. The only other ingredients are soy sauce, a can of jarred marinara. I'm using Italian sausage and garlic, but any kind of pre-prepared sauce is good. And I'm kicking it up a notch here with some filet mignon. We buy the whole tenderloin and ask our butcher to slice it up into 2-inch steaks. So we're just going to cube that, and that's going to go into the pan. And it's quick and easy, and man, is it good. So he's crushing the garlic. I'm going to turn on the stove here to medium high. I'm going to add just a little bit of oil, probably about a tablespoon and a half. And the onions are going to go in there and get soft.
Hey!
So he's getting the garlic in there, or the onions. And he's going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Not too much because we have the soy sauce in it. And stir those around until they're translucent.
We add the garlic now.
So the onions are good. He's going to throw the garlic in there now. You just never want to put that in too soon, or it will burn and get really bitter. And yes, that's a lot of garlic, but it doesn't end up tasting like that once it's cooked. So he's cutting up the filet into bite-sized pieces. And it's really nice. This came out of our freezer. It's really nice to cut up beef especially, but chicken too, when it's partially frozen. It makes it a lot easier to put it into a specific size.
Yeah, this right here was more thawed, and I wasn't able to get it in as even chunks. Here you can kind of see it's very
they come out
easy.
into perfect squares if it's partially frozen, so just a little pro tip there. So just a note on the filet, obviously I know everybody can't buy filet mignon to put in this. Hamburger goes in this great, it still tastes fantastic. Or stew meat. The only difference in cooking is that this is going to cook very quickly. You don't need to cook filet for a long time. But if you use stew meat, then just simmer it for about 20 to 30 minutes and your meat will get really tender. So you don't have to put in filet. We're just pulling out the stops here.
This is a traditionally economy meal.
It definitely is. I mean, Dad, who created the recipe, was born in 1901. So he wasn't breaking out the filet for this recipe, I guarantee it. I also have a pot of rice, sticky rice, going here to go underneath. So get yourself a pot of rice going when you start before you start making the sauce. So he's finished chopping the meat. The meat's gonna go in now. And he's gonna stir that till it gets brown.
Which looks like it'll be happening relatively quickly.
Yeah, it definitely So on goes the teaspoon of thyme.
I was kind of just feel it out.
Yeah, me too. I got that from your mother. And a splash of Worcestershire sauce, or Worcester sauce, correct pronunciation, and about a quarter cup of soy sauce. Actually, I wait until the meat's brown, then don't want to mess them up. But the Worcestershire sauce will quickly evaporate. Oh, into the browning. When he added the meat, he turned the heat back up to high so that it'll actually get some sear on it. But it is cooking really quickly. Probably will take about 4 minutes, 4 to 6 minutes to get it good and browned. So he's got that meat browned. He's gonna add in a quarter cup of soy sauce. He's just gonna eyeball it. He does like I do. That's good. And then the whole jar of the marinara. And then what I do once the jar is dumped, I put some water in the bottom of the jar and shake it up, just so you're not leaving that sauce in the jar. And the water will evaporate. It doesn't thin the sauce too much. So he's gonna add the water in the jar, put the lid back on, shake, 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 and we'll be good. Perfect. So, what would you think before you had this if you were told put soy sauce into spaghetti sauce? Like, it sounds weird, right?
It does sound weird.
I think most people would think it sounds weird. Most people would be like, yeah, I don't know about that. But it is magic.
That is the idea, is that I don't know if there's an actual story behind the recipe, but it's a kind of born out of necessity thing, you know. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah, like coq au vin, you know, that was created as peasant food, much like this was, and this is not peasant food.
This is a working class meal, and it's very good.
It is, but any king or queen would be very happy to eat this meal. It's that good. Now we're going to let that simmer for just about 5 minutes because it's got filet in it. It doesn't need a lot of cooking. But if you were using just regular stew meat or a cheaper cut of meat, just cover it, turn it down to low once it gets to a bubble, and let it go for 20 to 30 minutes, and it'll be magnificent. Be really subtle, a subtle boy. I'm just sitting here being a good boy, Papa. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Go out of the kitchen. Stay out of the kitchen.
Long. He's a long boy.
Well, he's very muscular.
Yeah, he is.
No, I think blue is just going to be a broader, more
Yeah.
stocky now.
Truth. You are a noodle. Do you want to dish out your rice so I don't do the proportion wrong? Should have saved those chives and put them on the bowl. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Digging in. Thanks, Dad, for the recipe. from way back. And it's so good.
Mm.
Very good job, Jake. Thanks, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
The steak, that mix of the sauce, it's just,
Yeah, it's a fillet, right?
yeah, it's so good. Thank you for visiting Marianne's Alaska Kitchen. Please hit the like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell and give me a comment if you have any suggestions or if you make it and like it. I'd love to hear from you. See you next time.